Ooh,
All right. So not only is this an episode of Movies in Minutes, but this is our 25th episode. 25, and I get to ring it in
25.
with you, Matt Martin, I
Nice.
guess this week. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm excited to have you on. I've wanted to have you on for a while, but I wanted to have, 24 episode clout behind me before I asked you in case there was like, hey Nabil, let me see this podcast that you're gonna have me on.
No, I would have been on episode three. I would have waited till episode three, just so you
All
had a
right.
couple under your belt, but I would have done it at least episode.
Well, now we got more than a couple. So,
Yeah.
um, and I always start by asking my guests before we get into the stuff for the week, what kind of movies do you like? If it's anything like your comics, I have an idea, but for the sake of explaining it to the audience, what do you got?
I like all cinema, like you, I've watched film my entire life and I've always, absorbed everything that came out, but I'm really prone to watching horror films or dramas or thrillers or, even
Okay.
like a good action movie or a good Western movie as well.
Something that
Sci-fi
gets the
especially.
blood racing, right? The heart
It's,
pumping.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Anything sci-fi I'm there for. I'm all over
hmm
the place.
I think that's good. I think two out of the three of the ones I had for you today fit that bill. Even though I didn't know those genres specifically going into this, I know your comic tastes and I know they're eclectic, so I was just like, all right, well, this is perfect. This is a hodgepodge kind of week. So,
Yeah,
and I think it'll work out, but we'll soon to find out. So, you watched all three trailers that I sent you?
I did.
You did. Okay.
I did.
And do you have a good din? What'd you have?
Well, so if you want to start with the Old Boy trailer, that's a great film.
We could. I,
Um,
I was asking about what you had for dinner, but we can hop right to
oh,
the movie.
I
I
didn't know
said,
what
did
you
you
said.
have
I'm
a good
sorry.
din?
God, you broke up for a second. Yeah, I had
Okay.
spaghetti with a meat ragu sauce tonight with salad and some white bread with butter. Some
That sounds
gracious.
exactly like what I would get, but probably tastes better than if you got it there. But like those like church dinners where like you'd go and like you'd have a spaghetti dinner that like to the
Yeah,
T all the things you named. You should name like the dessert, but I'm assuming that's to come still.
yeah, no, no dessert, no dessert.
No dessert. What?
No, maybe a Pop
What?
Tart, maybe a chocolate chip cookie dough Pop Tart, chocolate
So
chip
you
cookie.
had me at the chocolate. You had me at the chocolate chip. All right, all right. You want to start with Old Boy first? We can go there. Um, what what did that trailer do for you? What did you get a sense for in terms of like the plot? What do you think it was about?
Well, I've seen Old Boy before, and it's a
Now, see,
great
I should have
movie.
asked you that. Normally, like, I don't have re-releases on here, but I thought it was a good enough movie that I should do this. All right, so you have seen it before. All right, we're cheating
Yes.
a little bit here. All
Yeah,
right.
no, but what it did was it brought back because it is re-release and the trailer is
Mhm.
supposed to, evoke those emotions to give fans of the
Mhm.
original film something to look at. And it did evoke those emotions, it showed the hallway scene, it showed him
Mhm.
eating the squid, it showed the daughter, and
Mhm.
knowing what happens at the end of that
Mhm.
movie,
Mhm.
just watching the trailer, it's like, ooh, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
So I can't play the game where I ask you where you think it goes because you know
Yeah, I know.
already. Um, let me ask a different question since you've already seen the film. Well, what's the plot about? Just humor me. I mean, like maybe you have a different take on it than I did.
No, I mean, even though I've seen it,
hmm
the general plot,
hmm
it like the actual specifics of it kind of escaped me. I know it's revenge. I know they kidnap this guy and they
hmm
lock him in a room for like 8 years or something, and then they release him,
hmm
and he's on a trail of revenge, but it doesn't go exactly as planned. Even though it looks like it's going as planned, it eventually goes off the
It's
rails in a very
it's
weird
not
way.
it's not according to his plan anyway. It's to somebody else's plan.
Someone else's designs, yeah, and it's a heartbreaking film.
Mm-hmm. I would almost characterize it as one of the more fucked up films I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I also watched Beau's Afraid this year, which I wrote in my review for that. That was the most fucked up movie I'd ever seen. So this is not as fucked up, but it's pretty fucked up.
Okay. I haven't seen
But
Bo's Afraid.
I won't spoil that one for you, but give that a watch sometime when you got like 2.5 hours to kill. Maybe while you're high too, because there's a lot of like stuff that just is nonsense that will
Yeah.
probably look great. Um,
Okay.
so it was 15 years, not eight. He's kidnapped after basically like a drunken night out, and I think they describe him early on as somebody who talks too much, right? He's that guy at the bar who just won't shut up, you
Right.
know.
Okay.
Um, and at first when he gets kidnapped, you're kind of just like I almost wondered to myself, did he get kidnapped as like a minor slight like to somebody that like he just ran into on a random night, like, I just talked too much and I bothered you, so I'm gonna be a masochist, or not a masochist, but just I'm gonna ruin your life and kidnap you for
Right.
however long. And there is definitely more to it than that. And I having watched it recently and it's fresh in my mind, I almost still consider the reasoning behind his kidnapping almost like a minor slight, uh, as compared to what happens to him
Yeah.
versus what was perceived that he did. Do you remember what he did?
Nope. Not at all.
All right. Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who might go see it, but
Right. That's the
suffice it
thing.
to
We don't
say,
have to.
yeah, yeah. Suffice it to say, he says something very minor, and it rubbed somebody the wrong way, and it kind of caused a domino effect of things to happen, and somebody felt that he was worth kidnapping and keeping alive for 15 years over it. And did anything about it like stand out to you? When did you see it?
I saw it a long time ago when it first came out, and
Okay. I know
DVD.
it was like it came out in like '03. It was like this is like the 20-year anniversary of it.
Yeah, so it was around the time like where the DVD was picking up steam in America. So it was probably around 2015, 2016 when I
Wow.
might have noticed it. Yeah.
Now, did you know there was a US remake of it because we can't do anything of our own?
Yeah, yeah. Josh Brolin was in it. I did not see it, but once you've seen the original, it's like I don't need to see the remake.
I kind of don't want to watch the other one. And I also like the main character in this. I think his name was like Odaisuke or Odaisuke, and he looked real pitiful like before he like got into revenge mode. I feel like it'd be really hard to make Josh Brolin look pitiful.
Yeah, yeah.
He,
You
he
can't. I
he's
mean,
just like jacked, and he would get like more jacked.
right. You can make him look homeless, but he's still handsome. He'll
Yeah, I
back.
mean, I'd be wary of him. I'd be worried he'd destroy my galaxy or something.
Yeah, he's a
Um,
big dude. He's a big guy.
yeah. All right. Well, I can't play the normal game here. I can't ask you if you would go see it because you've already seen it. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so
It made me
knowing,
want to watch.
well, oh,
Made me
go
want to
ahead.
watch it again. That's for sure. Like I want to watch it again now, and just maybe with somebody who hasn't seen it before, so I can see them watch it for the first time.
Possibly Jesse.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I don't know if I don't think Marquis got it. I went and saw it out in Syracuse, but it's worth the watch. I'm sure the high def remaster will be on digital like in no time at all too. But
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna wait for.
would you recommend it though?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think everyone should see that movie just once, at
Uh,
least once.
Everyone
Maybe not
like
everyone if you're
like
if you're
5-year-olds.
sensitive, but no, no, definitely not 5-year-olds.
I mean, there's some great violence and brutality in that movie. So if you're a fan of seeing people like destroyed, go see this movie.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And the cinematography too. Some of the shots are just
mhm,
incredible.
very much. I agree. It kind of makes me want to go visit Korea, like the parts that aren't like scary in DMZ or anything like that. But
Yeah.
um, the second one, if you'll indulge me, I want to tackle is Golda.
Okay.
So, are you familiar with her as a historical figure? I can honestly say I was not.
Mm, no, no.
All right. Did you get a sense for what you thought that was about based on the trailer?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Based on the trailer, I
Mhm.
actually don't know much of the historical event that it's surrounding.
Mhm.
But someone's, declaring war or attempting to attack Israel in some
Mhm.
sort of way, and she's going to be the one to kind of lead them through the darkness type of thing.
Mhm.
I don't really know much beyond
I mean, it's fair. I mean, like my mom's a history teacher, and it's just isn't like the type of thing that they teach. They teach in the U.S. It's not like, Israeli history is like top of the charts for us. Um, it was in the 70s. I want to say 1973. Nixon was president, and basically the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur was coming up, and I believe it was both Egypt and Syria, both like launched attacks simultaneously against like Israel, right about the time the holiday was going to start because they figured nobody's going to be paying attention because they're about to have a holiday.
it. Right.
And the prime minister at the time is Golda Meir, in this movie played by Helen Mirren, who, I mean, like the makeup job. I mean, like you see that in the trailer, like she does not look like herself
Yeah, I didn't
much
know it
at
was
all.
her when I
Yeah,
watched it. I had no idea.
yeah. Um, but I mean, it's essentially like a historical war-based kind of like biopic about her being like the first female prime minister of Israel, specifically during this like 7 to 14 day, like they called it a war. I mean, I don't think I would call it a war if it was only that long, but they I think any sort of like occupation with like guns and weapons and stuff, they call a war there. So that
Right,
was the
right.
that was the Yom Kippur War.
Gotcha.
Um, what's your feeling regarding like biopics? Are they normally something that you would get into?
Yeah, I've seen a few that I've liked
Mhm.
throughout the years, like Oppenheimer, the most recent one, obviously, that everyone,
Yeah.
that's an incredible example, but also Lincoln back in, I want to say it was like 2014, 2015, somewhere around then.
Mhm.
Daniel Day-Lewis played Lincoln. That was a great, great movie.
I love
Um,
him so much.
yeah, me too.
He
Um,
um he's like the reason that I watch Gangs of New York over and over again.
yeah, yeah, I love
Yeah.
that movie.
Bill the Butcher, my guy.
Yeah, for sure. There Will Be Blood, one of my favorite movies of all time.
hmm
Favorite. Love
hmm
it.
Um, One thing I notice in biopics usually is they're relatively lengthy. I mean, like not even just Oppenheimer. Like before that, like they're usually like a solid 2.5, because they're really trying to like hammer in like the emotions, the feelings, the relationships, because it's all based on stuff that we probably have some sort of tertiary knowledge about. Like the Whitney Houston biopic was like 2.5 hours, and I was like, how much is there to chalk into this thing? But they found a way.
Yeah, right.
Um, is that something that like would affect whether or not you'd watch a biopic or not, like knowing that they're usually lengthy, or
No,
was it
no,
just like subject matter based and screw the runtime?
right. Yeah, honestly, when it comes to biopics, it's all about the subject matter. Runtime is
Mm-hmm.
usually a good thing. It usually works in the favor of these movies because you want to cram as much into a long movie as you can. I usually like your biopics, but in terms of Golda, I don't think I'm interested enough to shell out money to see it. I think I'll probably
That's
wait
fair.
till it's streaming and watch it on whatever app it lands on.
Totally fair. And I appreciate the honesty because, and this isn't me calling out any previous guests, but I'm always hopeful that you guys are telling me the truth on whether or not you would want to see something or not. The one thing I do want to add to this, that I mean, I don't think it would change your mind, because I'm sure again it's more about the subject matter. It was relatively short. It was about 90 minutes.
Okay.
Um, I thought it was going to be longer. Like the runtime listed was, it was one of those rare times where it was actually less than what was posted. So
Okay.
so I'm like walking out of here with like a half an hour to kill, and I'm like, okay. So
Yeah, if it's short, I mean, that would probably make me want to watch it sooner rather than
mhm.
later. But I still would probably wait till it landed on a free, well, not free, but that I'm paying for.
Yeah, if I remember right too, that one's not distributed by any major, like Bleecker Street was the production company, but no big studios behind it. So that
Right.
one that one makes me curious as to where it would land. Because I mean, usually if it's a studio that's got some affiliation, like, oh, it's Universal, it's going to Peacock or something like that,
Right,
or
right. You can usually
like
tell.
20th Century, it's probably hitting Hulu or
Right.
so.
So probably Netflix will pick it up or something. They usually
I could
do.
see that. I could see that. Um, all right. So the last one I think that I sent you this week sort of falls into the realm of the sci-fi that
Yeah.
you said you had some love for. Do you recall what that third one was?
Ah, I forget what it's called. It's got a weird title. I could pull up my
Oh.
phone right now, but I'm not going
No,
to cheat.
you're fine. So it's
Um,
it's landscape with invisible hands.
with Invisible Hands. Okay, yeah, yeah. It's a fun
Hmm.
title. I'm
Hmm.
interested in seeing it, although, there are other films that I have to see still, like Teenage
Hmm.
Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated one. I
Hmm.
still have to see Barbie. Um,
Hmm.
there's a couple of movies out there that I still want to see that would take
Hmm.
precedent over this.
Hmm.
And do we know if it's going to have a wide release? Do we know if it's going to be landing in our theaters?
So that's another one that I went and saw in Syracuse. So if
Okay.
we don't have it now, we probably aren't gonna get it.
Right. I'm not going to drive to
Um,
Syracuse to see it, so
I don't blame you.
it's one I'm going to rent though. I think once it's $5 on Amazon, I'm not going to wait till it's free. I'm probably going to wait till it's rentable, and then I'll rent that as like a movie night type of thing.
Well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves though. What's it about? What about it's like making you interested in seeing it?
Well, just the whole concept of aliens watching us for entertainment. I think we, as a society, have like passed along this idea a few times. Like I even think about like X-Men,
Mm.
um, where they have what's his name, Mojo there, and Murder
Oh
World or
my God.
something like.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Good
he's
cut.
he's
Good deep cut.
yeah, he's broadcasting it to everybody. I kind of think about that.
I mean,
It's
he was
interesting.
doing it like 30, 40 years ago before this movie even was an idea in somebody's head.
Right, right. So I mean, this has been an idea that's been talked about before, and it's
Hmm.
definitely an interesting, fun
Hmm.
idea, and to see them playing into it so well. You know,
Hmm.
one of the lines from the trailer was the alien saying, "Oh, you guys, your channel name is Us in Love, and you guys are not in love." It's just like how nitpicky the aliens would be in their entertainment, and they're going to sue them for it.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
that is just
But
crazy to me. It's kind of funny.
but but is it so weird that like it seems like that's something that could happen in the real world too? Like somebody could keyboard warrior and like say, well, you're disingenuous about your show. I'm gonna blow you up on the internet for it. Maybe not
Right.
necessarily sue, but it's a very human thing.
Yeah, and I can see it like it
Hmm.
happening in 10 years. Like it's not too far down the road. If the aliens reveal themselves in 2027, then it's right around the corner.
Hilarious part of that, and I don't know if they showed it in the trailer, but it is supposed to be like Earth in the very not so distant future. Like I think they say like first contact was like 2029.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Because they like start the movie as almost like class, because it's so the Earth is in this movie the Earth is under an alien occupation. That's not a spoiler. It's just a part of the premise, and so like they kind of start the film by giving us the backstory by as in an instructional lesson in school for like kids because they're just whatever they were babies and they were growing up and now they're like school age so they need context on their world. And the aliens are such that they don't understand human mating because they don't mate the same way. They don't reproduce the same way. So like the reality TV and any kind of TV like where it has that element in it like intrigues them and they'll pay to see it because it's an alien concept to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a really, really trippy movie, like to see what this world looks like, when the world is occupied, like how just different things change. Um, but it is mostly seen through the lens of the couple that you mentioned, the couple that kind of realize, hey, we can sort of monetize the commodity of like emotion, because
Right.
the aliens will pay big money. Like if we strap these things to our heads that show what we're doing in real time, they'll just like throw money at us. And
Yeah.
um, humans are definitely not at the top of the economic food chain in the world when they're not the ones in charge. Not a big shock, I don't think.
No, not a big shock.
Um, the title, the only other thing I'll say, which I don't think is a spoiler per se, but there's a heavy element of art in the movie. Like one of the main characters like is an artist, and that plays like a part of the story as well. Which when you watch it, I'm sure you'll appreciate. But the
Yeah.
title is the title of an art piece.
Okay. Gotcha.
So yeah. Um, do you have any sense for where you think like a movie like that would go? You know, if the starting premise is, you know, what I described to you slash, kind of what you surmised.
Yeah, yeah. I could kind of get the feeling that they kind of go in the direction of, almost like an Instagram influencer where they're doing everything for clicks, they're doing everything for that ad revenue type of thing. They
Mm,
show one particular scene in the trailer where our main couple says to another couple who are also broadcasting, out of our shot, you're in our shot, get out of the way. And they're like, you get out of the way. So I can kind of see that kind of snowballing throughout the entire movie. And to the
mhm.
point they're being disingenuous with themselves and they have to kind of face facts and either end the channel or start something new or actually maybe fall in love. I don't know what's going to happen, but I could see it going down that kind of road. And I think it's a great concept.
Mhm. Uh, I think that some of what you say could happen, and I think the movie was really good to me because it took some lefts too. Like it didn't go exactly the way I thought it would, and I always prefer a movie to surprise me. I don't want to be able to say that's going to happen, that's going to happen, that's going to happen, and still expect to be able to say that this is a 5-star movie.
Right,
Um,
right.
but I think of the three today, I mean, I'll tell you where I kind of landed. Golda I gave a 3 to. It's not a bad movie, but it was a pretty straightforward biopic.
Right.
But Old Boy and this one I handed solid fives to both. So
Okay. Gotcha.
yeah.
Nice.
So I mean, if you know what you know about Old Boy and you agree with that rating, then hopefully that means you get the same kind of enjoyment out of this, albeit not for the same reasons because it's not a violent, bloody movie. But
Right. No, I think Old Boy justifiably gets a 5.
Mhm.
Um, Even just based on the cultural impact that it's had throughout the years, the 20 years that it's
Mhm.
been out. And but we don't
I,
always
I
agree,
think
so I'd still have to see
you
this
do
new movie
totally.
just to see.
Yeah, and yeah, you say that now, and I didn't even think about that too. Like some things that probably like borrowed from Old Boy without even knowing it. Like it. I'm thinking back to like the Daredevil Netflix show, and that hallway scene
Oh yeah.
feels very much Old Boy.
Yep,
Now that I have
100%.
that like for context.
Yep, absolutely. There's a few things I'm sure
Mm,
people have made comparisons, but that's a great comparison. That's like the main one I'd say, for sure.
okay, all right. So I know you mentioned there are things kind of like call them the backlog because they've already released and you're making your way to them. The TMNT, the Barbie. Um, is there anything that's like not out yet that you're looking forward to?
There was a horror movie. I'm not sure what it's called. Um,
Mhm.
Something that I saw it was coming out soon. It kind of gave me Talk to
September
Me
is loaded
vibes.
with horror movies.
I'd have to see the list, but it looked like a real independent, kind of creepy, slow burn movie, like Talk to Me was. And I like horror
Was
movies
it
like that.
that was it that thing that's like in lives inside me or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Something, yeah,
Mm.
something's like pulling the hair, maybe. I don't know. I forget exactly what was happening in it, but um,
Yeah, yeah.
anything horror movie.
September is stacked.
Yeah. Well,
Personally, yeah, oh yeah. Go ahead.
they just delayed Dune, so I'm expecting other movies to start getting delayed too. Sadly.
I think September is mostly safe. Dune was November. October, they're probably kind of playing by ear at the moment. Like if by mid-September talks are still broken down, they'll probably start to bump October and December stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
true, true.
I know Aquaman's on the fence. Like I think that one's wholly dependent on if they I think they would give that one like a solid 8 weeks like of like promotion. So if they can't have that, they'll bump it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I don't even know if they should release that movie, to be honest. Like at this point,
it's the second person to say that to me today.
like the same thing. I felt the same way about Blue Beetle, but now I'm hearing that Blue Beetle's good and that they cut it enough to where you don't have to like it connects to a greater DCU, but it doesn't have to be the old one. It can be the new one.
Yeah, there's really, I mean, I don't know that it's a spoiler, but it's pretty self-contained. Any references it makes to the DC world at large are pretty generic. That are, you know what I mean? It's not like you get faces to put to names that you're like, oh no, well this is very clearly connected to the current stuff and not the future stuff. So
Yeah, I heard one. I won't say, but I heard a spoiler where the Scarab is flying through space and gets hit by something else. I won't say what that is, but that's
I maybe I missed that. I don't remember that. I'm
yeah,
thinking
yeah. I
more
don't
like there's definitely stuff that's like said that I mean obviously everybody's heard the like comment from the trailer, the like the Batman's a fascist line, like but like which
right,
Bat?
right.
So um there's another horror one if it's not already on your radar, which um is a fun little thing that I don't mind promoting, but once a month Regal does a thing called Mystery Movie Monday. And it's a $5 to get in for a movie that you have no idea what it's going to be, only that it's not out yet. Um, and the next one is the first week of September, and I'm really hoping that it's this horror movie, which I'm excited for. But A Haunting in Venice. Have you
Oh yeah,
seen
yeah.
anything with that? It's the
Is
next
that
Agatha Christie one.
yeah? Kenneth Branagh's directing all those and starring in all of those. Murder
Yeah,
on Orient
but
Express and all that.
yeah, but dude, he really makes this one feel like a horror movie in so much as like you plopped him into like the middle of like Exorcist or something. Like the trailer
Yeah,
doesn't feel like another like the third entry into these Agatha Christie's. It feels like they borrowed, Hercule Poirot for, A Haunting in Venice.
yeah. That's
And
what I read. People are saying that they don't even know it's connected. People are seeing the movie and they have no idea that it's connected to the other movies.
until I saw the second trailer for that, because the first one didn't really show him until the very like last second.
Yeah,
I just thought it was a haunting, whatever, another scary movie.
generic. Yeah,
hmm
but
So
yeah,
that's on my hype train. But the reason I brought up the Real Mystery Monday thing is, they give you the runtime, and that's the closest movie in the time after that releases that matches that. So I'm really cross my fingers. September 4th, I'm seeing Haunting in Venice instead of September 15th.
yeah. That's pretty cool. So that's
Yeah.
in Syracuse or
Yeah, Regal's in Syracuse. I mean they've got other locations, but nothing as close. So,
yeah.
um, last question for you before I let you go today. Are you planning
Okay.
on seeing anything this weekend?
No, I've got to work. So
You
tonight's
work
off the table and
you
tomorrow I
you
work.
work Sunday?
Yeah, yeah. I work every other Sunday, 12 to 5. It's not bad. It's only 5 hours, but when you work, you don't want to do anything beforehand, and then afterwards you got to eat dinner, and then you kind of don't want to do anything after that. So
50-50 crapshoot afterwards. The beforehand I totally get. Um,
yeah.
I put it up earlier and you maybe saw it, but this is me pitching it to you. $4 movies nationwide on Sunday for National Cinema Day.
Tomorrow?
Any training, any movie, any format, $4.
Who's participating though? Is Marquee participating?
Marquee is participating and Rome is participating as far as our local ones go.
Okay. That's cool.
So
That's cool.
something to keep in your brain, if you get out of work and you're not feeling super like smashed and, might be the night for Barbie.
Yeah, yeah, that's the first thing I gotta see. Whatever it is, it's gotta be Barbie and then Ninja Turtles in that order. I don't care anything that else that comes out. It's gotta be those two.
hmm So just something to keep in mind. Anybody watching, remember August 27th this year, National Cinema Day. 30,000 screens nationwide are doing it. So why not take advantage if they're going to hand you a $4 ticket for anything?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Mm. Matt,
Absolutely.
I appreciate you being on my man. I appreciate you taking the time, especially now that it's after work and like you said, wants to do anything. But
Yeah, but this is easy. This is just us talking. I don't even know, I don't even know how many people see this. So like,
mhm,
it's totally cool. Thank you for having me on.
of course. Well, guys, this has been Movies in Minutes. We've just had our first 25 episodes. Hopefully we'll make it to 50, all right? Matt,
Yeah,
you let me know any of these movies that you're talking about or any of the ones that I've shown you that you might end up seeing. Let me know what you think of them, okay?
absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
See ya.